This is Spy One Radio. Thanks for listening.
Welcome back to Fire One. As you heard in that song, if we all work together for the betterment of the country, everything will be all right. Thank you for tuning in. Greetings to you all once again, friends and family of Fire One. Please do well to share the stream if you're back on with friends on Facebook. Follow us and like our page, and on YouTube too. Please subscribe to our YouTube page so whenever we come on live, you will be notified. We really appreciate your time, and to our listeners on the radio, thank you so much. We're back again with our presidential correspondent from Ghana to give us an update on how the country is doing, how the president is doing. I do know recently um, a cabinet member in the government tested positive who happened to be close to the president for COVID, and so the president is in quarantine right now for 14 days, and he's been tested with, I don't know the result yet, so we'll bring our correspondent back to tell us what is going on. So stay tuned. Thank you. Yes, Omaini Beye. It's if you have somebody celebrating their birthday today, you can send me a message in a comment on Facebook, or you can call in to wish your loved one a happy birthday. Our phone numbers are open throughout the program today. If you're in the United States and you like to call, that number is 303 800 6277. Number again, 303 800 6277. And if you're outside United States, you can call our subline at 720-238-1489, 720-238-1489.
How can I describe a mighty God like you? You are bigger than any other God. Oh, what a privilege to worship at your throne. You are bigger than any other God. Oh,
how can I describe a mighty God like you? You are bigger than any other God. Yes. Oh, it's a privilege to worship at your throne. You are bigger than any other God. Yes. How can I describe
mighty God,
mighty God like
He would you could never
than
Jehovah Neluah. Oh,
Oh, what a privilege to worship at your throne. You are bigger than any other God.
oh, I cannot describe.
How can I
We
describe
bow before your throne.
mighty God like you? You are bigger than any other God. Oh, what a privilege
Hey, Lord, I
to worship at your throne.
for you are bigger than any other God. Say, you are big.
You are bigger
Yes, Lord.
than any other God. Bigger than the cancer, yes, you are. Yes, Lord. You are greater than any other God. You are great.
This is 51 Radio. Thanks for listening.
Elololo, awuma wokata. Elololo, 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 awuma wokata. Bigger than any other God. Bigger than any other God. Nobody, bigger than everything. Bigger than any other God. Bigger than the cancer in the body. Nobody, nobody, nobody.
great. Happy birthday to anyone who is celebrating their birthday today. We love you and we want to wish you a very happy birthday. We have our presidential correspondent, Mr. Elton Brobe, on the line from Ghana. He's a presidential correspondent for multimedia Joy News in Ghana, and we're really happy to have him with us today to give us an update of what is happening out in Ghana. Mr. Brobe, are you on?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Well, great to have you back today.
Yeah, good to be with you too.
Okay, how is it going?
Well, just like last week, it's been a very normal week. It's been raining in and out, so we haven't had the sun as it always is. But it's been good. It's been a very good week.
Well, that's good. Last week, after our show, breaking news came out that a cabinet member to President Nana Akufo-Addo tested positive for the COVID. I'm sorry, and so the president had to be tested, and he's in quarantine for 14 days. Did his test result came out?
We don't know for now the outcome of his test results. The statement that came up was to the effect that the president was taking a precautionary measure after someone very close to him tested positive for COVID-19. What the statement did not disclose was the identity of this person and how close he is to the president. But the statement went on further to say that based on that, and on advice of his doctors, the president had taken 2 weeks isolation. But will be working from the presidential villa, which is just some few, steps from the presidential office at the Jubilee House. So 1 week is gone, one more week, and last week, this week actually on Thursday, I had an interview with the Deputy Health Minister, Dr. Bernard Okuboi, who told me that the president was doing well, and that he's taking some tests, and they were still waiting to hear the outcome of those tests. And we've had updates from the Minister of Information, who also told a media briefing on Tuesday and then on Thursday that the president is hale and hearty and conducting business, government business, using technology from the presidential villa. So beyond these, we've not heard anything. We've not heard the test result. We've not heard whether the president situation has developed into another situation. So everybody's asking the same questions you are asking here in Ghana about the state of our president. We still have 1 more week to go. And I'm sure that on Tuesday, when the Information Ministry hold their weekly updates of COVID-19 cases in Ghana, I'm sure they will touch on these matters. But for now, we know that the president is self-isolating at the presidential villa at the Jubilee House. Some of his ministers who tested positive, some have been discharged from the hospital. The education minister was discharged on Thursday. Also, his campaign manager, Mr. Makumeni, was also discharged yesterday, Friday. And then the Deputy Minister for Trade, who tested positive, but yet went to a registration center to monitor the ongoing voter registration exercise. Today, we've been told that he's tested negative. And few other, persons who we know are very close to the president, they tested positive, but for now, they are back and working, suggesting that they may be negative now.
So have they all retested and it says they are negative that it can go back to work, or it's just a presumption?
Well, some have said publicly that they are now negative, and the WHO protocol which Ghana is using now is that once you self-isolate for 2 weeks and you are tested and it turns out negative, you can join the general population. So that's what the Ghana Health Service is also using now. So the education minister, for example, was on radio. He tested positive. He was on admission at the University of Ghana Medical Center for 2 weeks. And on Thursday, he was discharged with a negative report. So was the Minister for Regional Reorganization, Dambuche. He was also on admission for 2 weeks. He is now negative for the treatment that came from his office and from the Ghana Health Service. And then a few others, Mr. McMahon, the campaign manager for the president's second term bid, and some people we know. You see, the thing is that we have recorded a huge number of recoveries in the country. As at the last count, which was communicated to the public around 4 a.m. today from the Ghana Health Service, we have recorded 19,831 recoveries, and these people have been discharged. And out of confirmed cases since the first COVID-19 confirmed case in Ghana on March 12, 24,248, and we've had 19,831 recovered and discharged. And the new cases, as reported about 30 minutes ago, has jumped from 317 to 414. So as we speak now, new cases recorded in Ghana is 414. And as at the last count, we had 129 deaths that have jumped to 135. Meaning we've recorded 6 more deaths from COVID-19. So this is Ghana's case counts.
Well, we thank God that some of the ministers have recovered from this deadly virus going around. I'll give you a few break and I'll show a video that I have. I think the former president this week went to register to be able to vote coming December. So we'll take a few break and continue.
The cattle on 1,000 hills belong to you. My head, shoulder, knees, and toes belong to you. And everything that I made up belongs to you. My mind, body, and my soul belongs to you. It all belongs to you. It all belongs to you.
This is 51 Radio. Thanks for listening. This is
belongs to you. It all belongs.
Watch out!
are the potter and the clay. Break me and mold me as.
So in that video, that was former President Jerry John Rawlings out and about, I think in Kole constituent in Accra, to register to be able to vote. So we'll bring Mr. Brobe back to discuss a few things when he went out and when he got registered. Mr. Brobe.
Right. So the video was the former president when he went out to register for the voters ID card this week. His constituency is Kwale Klote in the Greater Accra region, and that's where her daughter is also the member of parliament, Zanetta Rawlings. In that video, she was seen accompanying the father to the registration center. So this was just Thursday, I think so, Thursday. So, I mean, it's the registration is still ongoing. It will end on the 30th of this month, and already they've done the first phase. They are in the second phase, and this week they started a process to register people who are in the senior high school and they've turned 18 and above. You know, the rules, the electoral rule is that you must be 18 years and above before you can register. So the process has been ongoing. The parties have had their own issues with it. The NDC, they've made it clear that they are not happy with the deployment of military personnel to some of the border towns, especially the Volta region. They are of the view that the presence of the military aims to intimidate and harass their members from coming out to register, because the Volta region, according to them, is their stronghold. So that the deployment is having an effect on the total registration exercise. But across the country, it's been smooth, it's been orderly. There's been reports of people busing people from other areas to go and register in areas that they don't hail from. The rule is that you must have resided in a particular area for 12 months before you can qualify to register in vote in that particular constituency. We've heard reports from Asawasi in the Ashanti region, a seat held by the NDC, and the member of parliament for the area, Mohammed Muntaka Mubarak, who is also the minority whip in parliament, wrote a petition to the Ghana Education Service complaining about the busing of students from neighboring constituencies to his constituency to be registered. And he says that it is part of the plot by the MPP candidate there to shore up his, support base so that he can unseat him in the December elections. And I mean, within the week, some people were actually arrested and taken to the police station. The police have remained neutral in matters of this nature, because if you feel that somebody does not qualify to register in a particular area, or you suspect that the person does not qualify because he's not a Ghanaian or anything of the sort, you can't take the law into your own hands. The law makes it clear that you must file a complaint form with the electoral officer and then challenge that person's, registration status. But some of the parties have resorted to using the police and arresting people whom they claim that they do not hail from their constituency, and taking them to the police station. But apart from these few skirmishes, the process has been smooth. The Electoral Commission says that the numbers they've seen so far means that they'll be able to hit their target of registering 15 million people for the December 2020 general election. But another issue that's already starting to bring about contestation, is already in court, is the decision by the Electoral Commission to go now to senior high schools and register students who are 18 years and above. Remember that government decided to bring back final year students on campus so that they can prepare and write the WASSCE exams in September. Now, per the electoral rules, if you are 18 years, you qualify to register. Now, what the Electoral Commission did was to now take their registration case to the campuses of these senior high schools and register students who are 18 years and above. The NDC raised issues with it at an emergency inter-party advisory committee meeting at the EC's head office. And their point was that the CI, the Electoral Commission, is governed by constitutional instruments 91, 126. 91 talks about creation of electoral registration areas, and these areas have been gazetted. So you cannot go beyond what has been gazetted to create new electoral areas. It will be illegal and will be unconstitutional. So what the EC did was to now, instead of new electoral areas, which will be illegal, because if you want to create new electoral areas, you have to now put before Parliament a new instrument. So the Electoral Commission might have to now go to the Attorney General to put before Parliament a new CI. The CI will have to mature within 21 days, 21 to 10 days of Parliament. And then when it becomes a law. Now, what they are using in CI 91 is CI 91 has 32,000 polling centers and registration centers across the country. Any center that is not captured in the CI cannot be used as a registration center. So what the Electoral Commission explained to the parties is that they are not creating new codes. New codes means they are not creating new registration centers. They are only, for example, your studio, and if you have a studio annex, if your studio is supposed to be the legally mandated registration center, and you have a studio annex, the issue says they are taking the registration case from your studio to the studio annex with the same code to register students. So instead of the students leaving campus to go and register in places that have been designated as registration centers, they are now taking the registration case from the designated places to the campus under the same code that is in law. So they are not creating new electoral centers. The NDC still insists that it is illegal and it's fraudulent. So on Friday, the process started on Friday. It ended this evening at 6 p.m. On Friday, they went to court and then sued the Electoral Commission, and they are asking the court to declare as illegal and wrongful the EC decision to conduct registration at any place, including campuses of a senior high school, which is not contained in the Gazette and notification in accordance with CI 91. And also a declaration that any such registration of voters, including students, that take place at any ungazetted and unpublished registration centers, including senior high schools, should be declared null and void and of no legal effect. And also an order excluding names of persons registered at those illegal centers on the register of voters. These are the reliefs they are seeking.
I think we lost Mr. Brobe. We will do our best to bring him back to continue our discussion. Please stay tuned.
I am your soul, Lord. The oceans and the seas belong to you. And everything will ever be, I give to you, God, to the end. I give you everything, Lord.
This is 51 Radio. Thanks for listening.
Okay, we're back with Mr. Brobe on the line. Mr. Brobe?
Yeah, so the internet is misbehaving this evening.
Yeah.
So basically, so that's what I'm talking about. So the Electoral Commission, the NDC is back in court. The court will now have to set a date to hear the argument from both parties, and then we'll pronounce judgment on. We don't have, the issue doesn't have a lot of time on its hands because of the closeness of the elections in December. So I think these are some of the things that they need to avoid, and people have the view that they should do the right thing to avoid some of these, legal impediments. But we'll wait and see. Even before the NDC took this action, they had called on government to shut down the senior high schools and then get the students to go back home because of the rising cases that we are seeing. After the last count on Thursday, we had 15 students from various senior high schools across the country testing positive for COVID-19. Now, the latest information is that 7 senior high schools in the Western region have also recorded cases of COVID-19, and schools like Archbishop Waters Girls, they've recorded 18 suspected cases with 1 confirmed so far. Diembra Senior High, Taman Senior High, Shama Senior High, a few other senior high schools. The government has made clear that for now they have no intention of shutting down the schools and then allowing the students to go back home, because if the virus has been seen in some of these schools, what it means is that if you ask them to go back home, they are taking it back home. So be proper. They're already isolated in the senior high school. So it looks like they go on to write the C exam in September. Nigeria, the big brother in Africa, has already pulled out. The Nigerian government says that they will not allow their students to take part in the WASI in September. So schools remain closed in Nigeria. Ghana, together with other members that make up the WASI, are participating apart from Nigeria. They've already set a date, late August or early September. That's where the examination will take place. And this is the qualifying exam to tertiary education, and will be the first beneficiaries of the government-free senior high school program who will be writing the exam in September. So those are the issues: registration and COVID. I mean, what is at stake now is for the court to pronounce judgment on the latest legal action taken by the NDC.
So, well, to me, I think the government should have allowed the students, the final students, to all of them should be tested before going back to school, putting them back in the school. But did that happen, or he didn't do that? He just allowed everybody to be back before they started testing them?
Well, it didn't happen. It was a suggestion. Government rejected it, and so all of them went back to school without being tested. Indeed, government, at the initial stages of COVID, undertook massive testing and contact tracing, and they rolled back on some of these things, just like what the UK and other countries have done, because the virus is already in the communities. Mm-hmm. So what they are preaching is attitudinal change, and people to abide by the protocols that have been outlined. There's even a punishment regime for those who fail to go about what government says that they should do. So there's no longer aggressive testing. There's no longer an enhanced contact tracing. But let me emphasize here that for the senior high school students that tested positive, government undertook enhanced contact tracing. And in one school, for example, they traced almost 400 students, and all of them were tested. But the results we are waiting to hear from the Ghana Health Service.
Okay. Listeners and viewers, we appreciate you staying with us. Continue to stay with us. If you like to call to ask questions or contribute, please do so. To our viewers, the numbers will be on the screen. And to our listeners, the studio number is 303-800-6277. 303-800-6277. And if you'd like to call on our WhatsApp line, that would be 720-238-1489, 720-238-1489. Okay, so Mr. Brobe, we heard that the NDC have picked a running mate. Finally decide to pick a running mate. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, it also happened this week on Monday. The NDC flag bearer submitted his choice of a running mate to the council of the party Monday morning, and the council accepted his choice of running mate. And later, the communication director of the NDC, Sami Gyamfi, announced to the media the choice of Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman, former education minister, former VC of the University of Cape Coast, as running mate to former President John Mahama. So that will be the NDC ticket for election 2020. Ahead of that, people had complained about the inaction on the part of former President John Mahama to name his running mate, knowing very well that if you're in opposition, you have a lot of time on your hands to do some of these things, but it took so long for this to happen. But eventually it happened. The running mate accepted the nomination. So as you speak, the NDC ticket is complete. John Mahama and Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman as the running mate. And some have said that this is the first time one of the two major political parties some named a woman as a running mate. But if you go back to 1992, there have been several running mates who were women. Of 92, when Ghana went constitutional rule, up till 2006, it's always been happening. But the argument is that for the major political parties, MPP and NDC, it is the first time a woman is partnering the presidential candidate for the general elections. So for them, they see it as unprecedented.
Well, that's good. Good to know, because I didn't know the earlier patch. So thank you for that information. We will take a few breaks with music and we'll return back. And to our listeners and viewers, please call. When you call, feel free to speak whatever language you want to speak. Bring your contributions and your questions. We'll do our best to translate. I normally like to go this way because we have a lot of listeners and viewers who don't understand the local language. So please bear with us.
Sweet Jesus, you're the bright and morning star. Oh, Jesus, you're the mighty man in battle. I call you Jesus, the master of the world. Oh, Jesus, you're the leader of the valley. Yes, you are. Sweet Jesus, you're the bright and morning star. Morning star, yeah. Oh,
Okay, we are back. Okay, Mr. Brobe. Last week, when we lost you, there were some questions that came in. Do you have answers to those questions?
Well, I think the issues were whether or not people abroad can register in the upcoming elections.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then uh, whether some cities are not observing the mandatory measures put in place for COVID-19 with the rising numbers of new cases.
Exactly.
The president is considering a lockdown.
Uh-huh.
I can only report what government abroad have been saying. For Ghanaians abroad to vote in the 2020 elections, you know, our election is governed by law already. In the 10 years ago, Parliament of Ghana passed the Representation of the People's Amendment Law, which is also called ROPA, to give voting right to Ghanaians abroad to register and vote in national elections. Well, the AC has yet to implement details of that law passed by Parliament. Furtherance to that, some citizens took the matter to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court gave the Electoral Commission 1 year to put in place the modalities to register Ghanaians abroad and get them to vote in the December elections. That 1 year has elapsed. The EC still insists that they don't really have the machinery to conduct credible elections beyond the borders of this country. And the EC is not so sure whether Ghanaians abroad will vote in this particular election. The CI that will regulate the voting is still in Parliament. It hasn't matured yet. I think it has about 15 more days, 15 more parliamentary sitting days to go before it matures. When it matures, we will know the details as to whether Ghanaians abroad will register. Now, the thing is, there's ongoing voter registration exercise, which is ending on the 30th. When that ends, I don't know whether the EC has any plans to reopen the registration for people who are there. Are even Ghanaians who are abroad because the airports are closed, and because of COVID they can't come home. These Ghanaians also wrote a petition to the EC to get them to register. The EC says that if they are able to come to Ghana before the window closed, then they can have the opportunity to register. But for those who are domiciled, living and working
Mr.
abroad...
Robert, can you hold on a minute? I think we have a caller on the line, and let's hear from this caller. Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, ma.
Me kwacho. Yare na kwosoro no. Ense Ghana for ya so na hedren. Ya nshemase no. Ena distance no so na yemfa anya adwuma. Enti Mede ka madwen ne senka obi a obebu mraso na wo say ye mane eye adwuma kakra se aprapra se de first wo mo sha ase no se wo mo agyae nti no obi a ye de ope eno na ama yare na ekoso
Mampa chobet me a little radio ne kakra.
What say?
With me a little background noise na my kakra.
Okay. Fine. Pacho
Mba try.
And then the any more yet to yo. Pacho de meka no unya ye
Mba try me nyai. I'm saying internet na high and
for no say. I was say anka wo mo makan na yetimi kwasra wo mo e bia na akora bi hia bi nti. Wo mo konse ya ma wo mo phone ya ma wo mo hwe nti no aya na ayem hihie kakra ewo ho ema awofo nti no aban ne betimi aye say bia once a month kura na yakɔhwɛ wo mo ase bia mebua
Yo.
me bua kakra no no
Yo, ma. Yeah, that's in your show. Ama one more dear no one should be out for free.
I friend me Gladys say me Ghana Sakama
Yo, Yeah, that's it for contribution. I mean, I'm saying you'll be saying so. I buy 80, no, remember whom I.
mpakyɛ yi o na ɛyi mehyɛ nso ma ɛnamfofoɔ bebree ɔmo nso hwɛ bi.
But sure, yeah, that's it. You mean sure. Yeah, bye bye. Hello, Mr. Burberry.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, we can continue.
Yeah. So like I was saying, that's what it is. We'll wait for the court case to start, and then we'll know the outcome. But for whether you have the opportunity to register and vote, that is a very tricky issue. Maybe in the days to follow, you can get the Electoral Commission to respond directly to this question, and then we can share with your listeners and viewers, especially those who are concerned about being disenfranchised in the December 2020 general election.
Okay, good to know. So when it comes to those abroad, how they want to do it, how long is it going to take? Because it seems like they said they don't have the mechanism to do that, and even if they do, in some countries we only have one embassy, and a place like the United States, it's only one, and there are people living all across the 50 states. So I don't think everybody will have the chance to be able to go over there. Are they planning on maybe doing it like electronically or like a mailing registration? Are they considering all of those?
Well, I mean, the question you asked, I guess, is one of the reasons that the EC hasn't been able to roll out registration of foreigners. The law was passed over 10 years ago in Parliament. This was during President Kufuor's time. And they were given time to prepare and register people to vote abroad. It hasn't happened till now. The reason is that they say that they are yet to put in place the necessary measures to get people to be able to register and then present a very credible voters register. The Supreme Court gave them 1 year. This was last year, to ensure that they do that this year. They flouted that. 1 year is passed. I mean, the ongoing registration doesn't mention anywhere that for those of you abroad, you have the opportunity to register. So they do their weekly news conference. I'm sure that this week, when they do, I'll try and put in a question and see if I can get an answer on this particular issue.
All right, we have another caller. Hello?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Mpacho, your friend Arena Koto.
Mpacho,
Mikasafi Ghana.
Oh, okay.
Mpacho, I'm saying, Yareno, so the no one is a costro, and say, Bebre now should you say Yareno anyhow. Max now by saying channel. A bit more share. Wamushan so much any your boy how or cockrum no home officers I know I said. Or feel up anyway he. Baby almost a mayan shia, no more shia. One down for general no more bonk or more beyond shining noxmas. A banning ya do be a piano so Ghana for Nankasangasa be brain dim ran so.
Not just a home.
Aha, no so count a yareno, a cost rosano. Social distances no, one more boom ran so cra. Ba more moon, come more moon broso, one more cobe brave, one come more icasa or maqua, one moon shen no smash no. James and Miss Kakra me who
Na a bit more how one said you try to advise them and now can be a mono bay and tokwana baby.
Try so catch on mobile, especially me problem or more moshana, or moon shen your boy how I said, so no way yash and a body I say. No, baby, you know what, no, it's a boy shall not be a shed, Nabodia, so almost officer about shed or pan open way. Oh, no more cow, Blobber so Yarabia anyhow. Bebrena just say Arabia in
Wow. Well, Empire bonus home be a suti na o my own mafim de say Yarian inch where no chair say Yarian in Niho. A whopa. You hear that say.
That's so.
Yeah, bye bye. Hello, Mr. Burbank.
Yeah.
Okay, so is the government really going to mandate wearing the masks and making sure like people are practicing the social distancing? Because it seems like all the callers' concern is the citizens are not doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Well, there's already a law. If you don't wear, if you don't practice social distance, if you don't do what is expected of you, you can go to jail or you can pay a fine. If you don't wear the face mask, you can pay as much as 60,000 Ghana cedis in fine. That's like $10,000. And you can also go to jail for 4 years. So the law is clear and on this matter. I mean, attitude now, just like the caller said, some people still feel that the virus is so far away from them, and that I mean, it doesn't even exist. Some feel that it's just a normal flu that you get, and then will go off by itself, and all that. Last week, for example, they buried 6 more people. Now, even the burials they are doing it on unmarked graves.
Hmm.
Which means that you can't even, if they put a person 6 feet down, there's nothing to identify. So family members only come to see and then they go. It was a very sad moment.
Wow.
Because the body is not even released to the families to do their traditional thing. You are only notified that your family member will be buried today, and then one person or two will be at the cemetery to just observe. And then once they finish, the graves are not marked. So in future, you can't even go there and then say that my family member was buried here or that.
And
Yes,
is the
so
media in Ghana telling the citizens this? Do they know? Are they aware? Or some are listening more to the pastors that are saying it's spiritual? That's why they're just want to live their daily life without observing all these protocols.
so the media has done what is expected of it. The media has been very proactive in the education. In my office, for example, we have done a lot of public education on this. I think the media in Ghana has been very proactive as far as COVID-19 is concerned, and even in our desire to bring the news to our people, some of them got infected. And I mean, in my office, for example, some of my colleagues tested positive, and they spoke publicly about it. There's also stigmatization, which is another issue that the government is trying to fight. So the media has done its work. The media has been very, very excellent in undertaking education of COVID-19. But I mean, we live in a society where people just refuse to listen. So, I mean, government has passed laws. Government has passed directives. Government has passed laws to back some of these directives. People have been arrested. Some are in jail. There's a pastor who is in jail for, flouting the social distancing. He held a church with more than 100 people. He was cautioned the first time. He repeated it a week after. The military had to go in. Then he was arrested. He was put before court and jailed 4 years in the Ashanti region. So, I mean, several people have been arrested. They've been taken to court and all that. Some people have also said that even the punishment regime is too steep, and the government should try and amend it and bring it down, because on the high side, bodies like the Ghana Medical Association, the Ghana Bar Association have all added a voice to the fact that the non-wearing of the face mask law and punishment is too high on the high side. The government should try and then review it. So, government has done its part. The president has been very, proactive in emphasizing the need for people to observe the safety protocols, including the wearing of the face mask. People wear it, they bring it down. It doesn't cover their face, their mouth, or their nose. It only covers their chin, which is really unacceptable. So, what more can people do? There's a lot of people still don't want to see. So we can only hope and pray that people's attitude will change.
Mm-hmm.
They can also only hope and pray that the war against COVID-19 will be won and that life can return to normal, because the economy must begin to work. You cannot kill the economy with kindness. Otherwise, you run the risk of bringing the country to its knees. This week on Tuesday, the finance minister will be in parliament to present a supplementary budget going to ask for more money to spend because revenue is on the downside. It's like the country is not working. So he's going to parliament to ask parliament to approve for him to spend more money. And if it continues like this, I don't know how a developing country like Ghana can survive, can survive. So, I mean, the clarion call is that people must simply adopt to the rules and then change their attitude.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Brobe, for coming on the program today. We'll bring this program to an end, and hopefully things will be better out in Ghana, and everybody will do their part. Us here in the States, we are facing the same thing. It seems like everybody thinks different, but this is real for everyone out there. This virus is real. Please do your part. It's not hard to put on the mask. Please do your part to save a life. Thank you so much. We appreciate you, Mr. Brobe.
You're welcome, and you have a wonderful weekend.
You too. Thank you.
The master of all. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Thank you, Lord Almighty. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. Hallelujah, hallelujah. I call you Jesus, the master of the master of. I call you Jesus, the master of the master of. I call you Jesus, the master of the world.
I call him Jesus. What do you call him? We're bringing our show to an end today. I always like to end to remind you to love a neighbor as yourself. Have a wonderful week. Please do well to stay tuned for our upcoming program tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Colorado time, 9 a.m. Eastern time. We have a pastor who will be sharing the word of God all the way from South Africa. So please join us tomorrow morning. God bless you and enjoy the rest of your Saturday.
Mighty God, mighty God, yeah. Mighty God, we worship you. Oh yeah, mighty.
Thanks for listening.